Hey guys, it's Miss Hoffman. Today we are going to focus on reading chapter 10. Okay, so if you go ahead and open up your book, chapter 10 starts on page 82. Okay, remember yesterday we learned that Melody has a new baby sister. Okay, her name is Penny, and remember she's really healthy. Okay, so we're going to keep reading today. I'm going to give you reminders just like before of what page we're on, and it's my expectation that you're following along in your book. So make sure you're following along in your book. Okay, go ahead, top of page 82. I'm going to start. Penny wakes up every morning asking for her doodle, a soft, brown, stuffed animal that might be a monkey or a squirrel. It's so beat up, nobody knows for sure what it really is. She drags it everywhere. Doodle, she cries if it's been caught in her blankets. Doodle, she cries if it's right next to her. Of course, it sounds more like doo-doo when she says it. That makes Dad crack up. I smile when I hear footsteps outside my door, big ones and tiny ones. My mom and Penny. And Doodle, of course. Sometimes my legs and arms are stiff from being in the same position all night, and sometimes my toes tingle. Top of page 83. My bedroom door opens. Dad never gets around to fixing that squeak. My mom traces a finger along my cheek. Maybe she's checking to see if I'm still breathing. I am. I open my eyes. I wish I could say, "Good morning," but I just grin instead. She pulls me up and hugs me, rarely stopping to sit in the rocking chair anymore, and rushes me to the bathroom because I usually have to go really bad first thing in the morning. Remember, Melody needs help using the bathroom, right? So her mom always has to take her in the morning because she's gone all night without using the bathroom. I'm halfway down on 83. Penny trails behind us wearing a huge red and white hat, like the one in Cat in the Hat. The girl has a major hat obsession, and always with her doodle. Butterscotch is never far from her. She lets Penny put hats on her and somehow endures Penny's hugs, which can sometimes feel more like chokeholds. I've gotten a few. She barks to alert Mom and Dad if Penny gets too close to an electric plug or the front door. Our bathroom is painted ocean blue and is large enough for Penny, Butterscotch, me, and Mom, and my chair, without feeling crowded. It's a good thing because we spend lots of time in there. Penny and I make pretty big messes, but at least I don't have to wear diapers. It's bad enough that someone has to put me on a toilet, but diapers? Yuck. Even though the doctor said it would be impossible, by the time I was 3, Mom had me potty trained like any other kid my age. I just turned the page. I'm on top of 84. I hated sitting in dirty diapers, and she hated changing them. So I figured out a way to let her know I had to go, and she'd hustle me to the toilet. Mom and I can sometimes talk without words. I point to the ceiling, and somehow she just knows whether I'm talking about the ceiling fan, the moon, or the dark spot where the rain leaked through during the last thunderstorm. She can tell if I'm sad, and she can sense when I need a hug. She rubs my back and makes me relax when I'm tense and upset. She tells dirty jokes sometimes when Dad isn't listening, and we both crack up. Okay, so be thinking about what Melody and her mom's relationship's like right now, right? So even though Melody can't really communicate with her mom's still able to understand her based on the little things that she does. So that lets us know that they have a really, really good relationship. Okay, I'm about halfway down on 84, starting at one morning. One morning, as she was getting me dressed for school, I pointed to her stomach, then covered my eyes as if the sight were too much to look at. It was shortly after Penny had been born, and she still had a good-sized baby bulge. "You call me fat?" she asked, acting insulted. I laughed a little and said, "Ugh," which is the closest thing I've got to a yes. "Take it back," she said, tickling the bottom of my feet. Instead, I held my arms out like I was making a huge circle and laughed out loud. Huge, enormous, like an elephant. I could tell what she was thinking. Top of page 85. We both rolled with laughter, and then she hugged me tight. I wish I could tell her that I loved her. Mom knows when I'm hungry or thirsty and whether I need a glass of milk or just some water. She can tell if I'm really sick or simply faking it, because sometimes I do pretend I don't feel good just so I can stay home. She can tell what my temperature is just by feeling my forehead. She only uses the thermometer to prove she's right. I can tell stuff about what she's thinking too. By the end of the day, after she's been at the hospital all day, then fixed dinner, then bathed Penny and me and put me to bed, I can tell she's kind of reached her max. She breathes hard. Her forehead is sweating. I sometimes reach out to her and touch her hand with mine. I can feel her calm down, and she'll trace her fingers along my cheek, just like she does in the morning, and give me a kiss goodnight. Every Saturday morning after I've been fed, Mom reads the newspaper while she has her coffee, and Penny smashes bananas on her high chair. Butterscotch doesn't like fruit, but she stays close by just in case someone drops a piece of bacon. Mom's off on the weekends, so she relaxes. Sometimes she reads articles to me or tells me about the latest hurricane or uprising or explosion in the world. I'm turning the page to 86. More fighting in the Middle East, she says. I've seen it on TV. Bombs and tears and faces of fear. There's a new Spider-Man movie coming out soon. She reads as she shakes the newspaper flat. Maybe we can catch a matinee. I love superheroes. I guess Spider-Man is my favorite because he can fly. How great would that be? Mom reads me the comic pages also. I like Garfield. Garfield is cheating on his diet again, Mom says. He ate John's lasagna and Odie's meatballs. I laugh and point at Mom's hips. Are you calling me fat again, Miss Dee Dee? Just because I finished your spaghetti last night? I grin. You'll be sorry when I start feeding everybody lettuce for lunch. We both laugh. Mom's not even close to being fat, but I like to tease her. For my 10th birthday, I got a whole book of Garfield cartoons. Now that's what's up. I made Dad read it to me over and over. Garfield is a cat who has a lot to say, but his words are written in little circles above his head. He can't really talk, of course. He's a cat. But sometimes that's how I feel. Like, wouldn't it be cool if I had somebody to write the words over my head so people would know what I was thinking? I could live with that large floating bubble above me, speaking for me. Wouldn't it be cool if someone could invent a bubble talking machine before 5th grade starts in a couple of weeks? Ha! I'm at 87 right now. Sorry I missed that. I'm a little bit down, okay? I'm starting at when I try. When I try to talk, the words are exploding in my brain. But all that comes out are meaningless sounds and squeaks. Penny can say a lot of words and pieces of words, but my lips won't come together to make even simple sounds like that. So most of my noises are vowels. I can say and ah pretty clearly, and if I concentrate, sometimes I can squeeze out a buh or a huh. But that's it. My parents can usually figure out what I need just by listening carefully. To outsiders, I probably sound like one of those children who was raised by wolves. My communication board, even with everything Miss V has added to it, well, it sort of sucks. Remember, a communication board is kind of like a tray that sits on top of her wheelchair, and it has the alphabet on the top of it, and then different pictures over it. So one would say like yes, and one would say no, and she can point to that with her hand to communicate with some people. But we kind of talked about it earlier, that communication board, it's really small, right? So she only has a certain number of words she can put on it. So what she's able to communicate to others is very limited, right? So it helps to communicate with people, but it's not perfect. Okay, so I'm at the bottom of page 87, right at for example. Okay, for example, one afternoon earlier this summer, I had a taste for a Big Mac and a shake. I have cravings like that all the time. Vanilla. I love fast food. Mom wasn't home, and getting my father to figure out what I want is sometimes a big job. I pointed to the picture of my dad and the word go. the word eat, and a happy face. That's all I had to work with. I gotta give him credit. He tried. He asked me a million questions, so I pointed to the yes or no. Turn the page to 88. Are you hungry? Yes. Okay, I'll fix you some tuna salad. No. I pounded on the tray. I thought you said you were hungry. Do you want some spaghetti? No. Gentler this time. So what do you want? No answer. Nothing on my board could describe it. I pointed to go again. You want me to go in the kitchen and cook you something? No. You want me to go to the grocery store? No. I was starting to get upset, pounding the board with my right thumb once more. I don't get it. You said you wanted me to get you something to eat. Yes. Once again, I pointed to Dad's picture, then go, then eat, then happy face. I could feel one of my tornado explosions starting. I started to kick and my arms got all tight. It was driving me crazy that I couldn't tell him about a stupid Big Mac. Calm down, sweetheart, Dad said softly. My jaws felt like steel bars. I knew I was breathing hard and my tongue wouldn't stay in my mouth. I hit my board once more, aiming at no particular word in particular. Okay, so remember, when Melody gets really upset, it's not because she's angry or she's out of control or anything like that. She's just really frustrated, right? Imagine being hangry. We've all been hangry before, okay? All you want is a Big Mac. All you want is some Takis. All you want is some pancakes, whatever y'all want, right? You want something to eat. And imagine not being able to tell someone what you want to eat. Or imagine like going to your cupboard and thinking that there were Takis there and then not having any Takis, right? We would all be upset. So right now, Melody is just expressing her frustration that she can't get what she wants, right? Because she can't tell someone what she wants. Okay, let's go ahead and finish up this page. I'm at the top of page 89. Okay, I'm sorry, Melody, but I can't figure out what you mean. I'm going to fix you some noodles and cheese. Will that be okay? I sighed, gave up, and pointed to yes. I calmed down while he cooked. The noodles were pretty good. Have you guys ever really been craving something and then like you had to eat something else and like it was fine, but like it wasn't what you wanted? That's really what's happening here. A couple weeks later, my dad and I were in the car. We passed by a McDonald's. I screeched and kicked and pointed like Godzilla was coming down the street. Dad must have thought I was nuts. Finally, he said, "Would you like to stop and get a Big Mac and a shake for dinner tonight as a treat?" I shouted, "Ugh!" Remember, that's her way of saying yes, as loud as I could, and kept on kicking with absolute delight as he pulled into the drive-thru. He never did make the connection between that fast food stop and my request a couple of weeks earlier, but that's okay. Even though it took us an hour to finish, it was one of the best hamburgers I have ever had. Okay, so a couple things to note here. One, that very last line, it says, even though it took us an hour to finish, okay? Imagine taking an hour to eat your hamburger, right? That is a long, long time. But remember Melody, she can't chew or swallow very well. So one, she has to have very, very tiny pieces, okay? So that means that her dad has to cut up all of her hamburger for her into little tiny pieces, okay? That way she doesn't choke or anything like that, okay? And that's why it takes so long to eat, okay? The next thing I really want you to focus on is focus on this question, right? Is Melody's dad a bad dad? Okay? Because in this chapter, we learn a lot about how the mom is able to tell everything that her daughter needs, right? If Melody points at the ceiling, she knows whether she's pointing at the fan or whether she's pointing at the wet spot on the ceiling from where the rain leaked in, okay? Her mom can tell that stuff, okay? Her mom is super smart and knows Melody really, really well. But just because her mom knows Melody really, really well, her dad doesn't know her quite as well, okay? But the thing is that he doesn't have any bad intentions. He doesn't mean to do her any harm, okay? He's trying his best, and he's just not understanding her quite as well as her mom is. Okay. So even though sometimes Melody gets really frustrated with her dad, and sometimes her dad might get a little bit frustrated with her, that doesn't mean it's a bad relationship. They just aren't quite as close as Melody and her mom are. Okay. So her dad loves her. He really wants to do what's best for her. Okay. He's just not quite there yet. Okay. So now what we're going to do is once you're done reading, okay, you're going to go back into your out of my mind read aloud document. Okay. And in that document, you have a little section next to chapters 7 through 10. Okay. And you should have one quiz to take for chapters 7 through 10. These are all the chapters that I've been reading out loud to you. Okay. So feel free to go back into your book, look up some of these answers if you forget, because I know it's been a couple days. Okay. If you need something to read out loud to you again, please go back and click on those links for the chapters. Okay. This quiz will be for a grade, so take it seriously. Okay. And we'll go over the answers tomorrow. Okay. When I get back. If you have any questions, you can ask the sub. But go ahead, get started on that quiz. And please, 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 even if the bell rings before you get done, press the submit button. If you press that submit button, I changed some settings on it, so you'll be able to go back and edit your responses. Okay. But no matter what today, please make sure you click that submit button before you leave class. Okay. Finish your quiz. Have a good day. Bye. See you on Wednesday. Sorry.